Hello again, it's Mike with the Claim Squad Public Adjusters, and today we're going to be talking about a situation involving condos, really the water damage that comes from a condo above you, which is quite common, believe it or not. So we're going to cover a few things. Number one, the Florida Condominium Association Act, neighbor responsibility, okay, who pays for what, and how to start the process, what to do, and how to do it. So let's get into this, and let me just change a few things. Let's see what works best. I guess we'll go with that one. So the Florida Condominium Association Act. Google it, get to know it. There's always some gray areas from what the association believes versus what really is the case law. So who's responsible for what? According to the Florida Condominium Association Act, all right, you should find that the majority of the association is responsible for the walls, ceilings, pipes behind the walls, mold, question mark. Mold we'll talk about a little bit later, all right? So the unit owner, the walls in, okay, so whatever's on your walls, if you have tile, if you have paint, if you have wallpaper, that's your responsibility. The floors, that's your responsibility, excluding the subflooring, which would be the condo association's responsibility. So obviously then kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, bathroom floors, things of that nature, that all is your responsibility. Uh, Is your neighbor responsible if this type of situation, you live on the first floor, your neighbor on the second floor has a water leak of some sort, comes down into your area, is your neighbor responsible? No, the bottom line is. All right. I had to talk to a few people all the time about this. Your neighbor can't be held responsible because there's no intentional act. All right. Let me give you an example of where your neighbor would be able to be held responsible. Your neighbor throws a big party, everybody's drinking. Your neighbor says, "Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to turn on all the water from my sink, let it overflow, and go down across the hallway into the first floor." And everybody's joking and they're laughing. They're like, "Do it, do it, do it." So he does it. Water leaks. Now that's an intentional act. He meant to do that. He or she meant to do that. All right. So, based on that, yes, you can hold them responsible. Okay, behind this, it basically says like a pipe break, water line break is not an intentional act. If you have something in your unit, if you're on the second floor and you have a line that breaks and it goes to the first floor, you shouldn't be held responsible for that. It's an accident. It's just something that happened. So that's a big difference there. Um, who pays for what? So your insurance company, as we talked about in the very first slide, who's responsible for what? Your insurance company will ask for the bylaw request. All right. Now, 80 to 90% of the time, 80 to 90, your association is going to be responsible for what we had discussed. The drywall, the ceiling, subflooring, the common areas of the condominium. 80 to 90% time, that's in your bylaws. Most condo association bylaws are from the 70s, and a lot of them haven't been updated yet. So when you make a claim to your insurance company, know that, because what they're going to do is just pay you for those things that the association wouldn't. Now, here's where some issues come in with the association. The association is a lot of times may not take responsibility of it. You have to point them and guide them to the Florida Condominium Association Act. So why wouldn't a condo accept their responsibility when 80 to 90% of the time it says in the bylaws they're responsible? One of two things. One is either their COA, HOA, Condo Association, Homeowners Association, lawyer is telling them they're not responsible for that, which is bad advice, okay? Or number two, they haven't been properly educated. I'll leave it at that. So mold behind the walls. Okay, water leak, pipe break, mold behind the walls. Technically, because you are only responsible for the walls in, anything, or out, I should say, anything with the walls in, okay, the association is responsible for. They should be responsible for that mold and remediate that mold. It is a gray area because a lot of associations don't think they're going to be responsible for that, but they should be responsible, and this actually should be something that they do take responsibility for. So that's pretty much the association pushback. Their pushback is what I just talked about. Either their attorneys trying not to have them pay for anything and be liable, they're not properly educated, and they don't actually know, because a lot of people do not come to the association for drywall repairs when they should. So that's part of the reason why. You can't be educated if you don't go through these things and understand it. And the problem is unit owners don't understand that the association is responsible for that. So normally they just do it themselves. And then finally, let's take a look at what do you do from the start? Well, you definitely want to contact the association. Let them know what the situation is, all right? Especially when you have neighbors. You're going to want to contact your insurance company. Now let's talk about this briefly. What if you don't have any insurance? It's going to be a tough spot for you. You're going to have to come out of pocket. And I know, well, my neighbor's responsible. Legally, if you filed the lawsuit against them, I don't believe you would have to talk to an attorney, but from what I've seen and what I know, you would not be able to hold them responsible. You'd be wasting money. So if an attorney wants to take money from you, don't sign up on that. That would be my advice. Get whatever you can from the association, and unfortunately some of this is going to have to probably come out of your pocket unless you and a neighbor work something out. That's a very touchy subject. And then this one, don't start any repairs until the issue that's above you or around you has been taken care of. Very big situation there, all right? Do not start the repairs, because you'll start the repairs, and then if the issue hasn't been resolved, they can't find the leak, you're going to end up in a situation where you're now doing twice the amount of work, paying twice as much. So my name's Mike Keeler with the Claim Squad Public Adjusters. Here you can reach me if you have any issues regarding a property damage claim, condo claim in particular. And feel free to give me a call on my cell phone, text me, you can email me, visit my website. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you found it helpful. Thank you.